Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I'm glad you're all here. It's a pleasure to be here with you. This is there are only a few days left for our Chanchi here at Mountain Temple. So try your best to become enlightened, okay? No excuses. But I'm glad that we're getting so many people to tune in and to join us personally to do this Chanchi here. I think, factually speaking, is one of the toughest Chan approaches in the world as compared to when I first started 30, 40 years ago. Mindfulness meditation was a rage. And thanks to Thich Nhat Hanh and Dalai Lama and so forth. And everyone was teaching mindfulness meditation. And after all these decades, how far have they got? Okay, this is America. We look at results. You can talk all you want, but if you're not producing, you get canned here in the US. Okay, so right now I feel that mindfulness meditation is only being used finally by the therapists. They're taking it a lot more seriously. There's a reason for it. There is a principle behind it, but it's way beyond the therapists. Let me explain to you what the principle behind it. Mental illnesses basically are, I'm not going to mental illnesses, that's enough, okay? And this is not, this is way too detailed and too technical for me, myself personally, because I'm not trained. But when you have mental illnesses, let's say depression, very commonplace nowadays. Manic is also a very, very serious issue, but it's not regarded, it's not taken seriously yet. But depression is, because it's harmful. A lot of people, young people in particular, take their lives. And that thought there, the thought of killing yourself, is but one of the many types of thoughts we experience during the day. Okay? And Chan meditation is geared towards stopping those thoughts. That's the only technology that matters. Not medication, not counseling. All those are just aids. But the main thing is that we need to learn to ignore those thoughts. That's all there is to it. But sometimes they're too strong. Okay? And that's why you need Chan training a lot more intensively than the therapists or the association of therapists who advocate mindfulness meditation. Let me tell you flat out, mindfulness meditation is not good enough to cope with mental illnesses, period. And let them find out next few hundred years, okay? All right, so what are we about? We are about, I foresee in the future, we will have centers of Chan meditation. We're talking about American Chan meditation throughout the world, okay? Where it will be populated and run by people who are trained properly to give you the proper foundations of meditation, not this, this pleasant feeling and blissful feeling that's all people shoot for with mindfulness meditation and low level of meditation. It works, okay, up to a certain point, but it's not for us. Okay, there's as you might have noticed, there's a 1% and there's a 99%. Okay, what I'm hinting at is that there's the elite and there's the average, okay? I would say mindfulness meditation is for the average, but the elite, like you, are not quite satisfied, or dissatisfied actually. You're looking for more impact on your time more gains from benefits from the time you spend on meditation. Okay? Our time is the most valuable thing. When you get to be my age and you realize that it's pretty important, one of the most important assets we have is time. And we don't want to waste it. We want to maximize the time when we meditate. So technique matters, okay? And what is technique we're talking about? You are being trained, lay people and love-form people as well. You're being trained to understand how to teach basic Chan, American Chan meditation, okay? And when you get more advanced, we teach you more about the theory behind it, okay? So that you can train other trainers. And so I'm not expecting everyone, every center, every place to be run and led by experts. But for the general population, for most of the people out there, for average person to elite people, they can go to these places and hone the skills until they're good enough. There'll be reference to places like this, Way Mountain Temple, Dharma Tertiary Temple, and so forth. These different places throughout the world where you receive more advanced training, where you can make progress a lot faster. All right? That's the way of the future. So your role is pretty important, okay? Because we're making a difference. And this is a sorely needed skill in life. We know two ways about it. And so you're participating in the beginning of a revolution in meditation, where I'm not happy, I'm not impressed with the Chinese style of training so far. What I've seen from my teacher, from his students. And so we're doing our own American style of Chan meditation, which is really a lot more demanding than it sounds. I know today, for example, at lunch, our schedule calls for a sit at noon, and people were joking, laughing at 12:30. It's so shocking. Shame on you. Okay? You see how relaxed we are. It looks like we are really relaxed and easygoing, but actually it's pretty intense. When you are selected, when the time comes, it's pretty intense, a lot more rigorous than most places. Okay? All right. Questions and comments? JMT.
Hello, Master. This is Sarah. After this Dharma talk, I will depart from GMT and heading to back to Shanghai. So I want to say thank you to JC and the GMT's Sangha team and the Dharma family members. I really enjoy the days here. I think for me, it's the first time joining Chanqi. More relaxed, to be honest, for me. So I'm here, help kitchen, and had a great time with Sangha and the Dharma family members, and also meditate more, sitting longer. So really a great vacation for me. So thank you, everyone. Helped me a lot. And I have a question. So to be honest, can come here join the Chanqi. It's not easy for Chinese. I'm the blessed one can come here and stay here 8 days. So my question is how to accumulate a blessing. The purpose is to come to Master's temple and join the activities.
Okay. Well, first of all, we're very glad that you took the time out of this holidays season to come and practice with us. That's what keeps the program going, by the way. Each and every one of you who comes and who supports this program, which many have done for many, many years, since day one we started at Lu Mountain Temple. And every year we've been able to do it consistently. It's extremely, extremely hard, let me tell you. This every year, we have a lot of problems during the Chanchi. Our personnel, our temples have a lot of issues. Started at Lu Mountain Temple, and then every year the pressure was increased and increased because, you know why? Because they're brought on by you. The more you improve, the more obstruction you bring to the temple. And that's why it is very important for you to try to come to the temple. You can make it, then you have better chance to overcome your obstructions than if you were to stay at home. Okay? And the funny thing, let me tell you, this year is I was bracing because I heard that a lot of people are going to both locations and in K-Land as well. You like the nickname K-Land? Yeah. Pure Land, K-Land, A-Land. Yeah? Okay. And so I was bracing myself for even more obstruction. Every year they tighten the screws on us, okay? Because your levels keep on getting better and higher, so therefore the obstruction become bigger, bigger, and bigger. This year I was bracing for a lot of problems, okay? Because it's very tough. Right now your level is outstanding, I must say. I'm so proud of you. No, I will stop. Okay, self-control. No cheap commercial stuff. We'll be dignified the rest of the year. Yeah, that's a promise. 3 more days. And so your level is incredible, and it's much more difficult to teach you. Okay, and so I was bracing for a lot of obstructions during this Chanchi here. I didn't realize that when I was in Korea, they started already. They started attacking my people already. And that's why I lost 1 monk. Okay? As you see, every year it gets much more interesting for you and for me. Okay? But we have more than made up for it during so far. The 1 loss equated to much bigger gains. So it doesn't bother us. We bring it on, babes. I mean, okay? And so your coming to the temple is really can make a difference, trust me, in more ways than I realize. Okay, so I'm very glad that Celery and a lot of you are coming to the temple and join us, and thank you. And I hope you have a nice trip back, and come again anytime. And these places here, policies is they're here to help you cultivate. That's our purpose. So we take care of your cultivation. You don't have to worry about a thing, okay? When we run out of resources, then we close them down. Otherwise, as long as we can handle it, we will support your cultivation. That's the least I can do, okay? And as far as her second question about creating more blessings, in Chinese is the concept of 尽去人. And that's the best way to create blessings. Okay, meaning that Jin is to be close, Shu is the work, Ren is person. So the person who closes the work, meaning what? The person who are close to the actual teaching, the actual propagation. So for example, when Master YongHua was alive, he was propagating and building infrastructures and the foundations for Mahayana, American Mahayana. So his disciples who were close, they supported him, and that's how we got this treasure trove of beautiful Chinese dharmas that we can use. Okay, and so that's why those people in the early era, that's before my time. My time is not considered Jinchuren because I came towards the tail end of his stay here in the Saha world, and he died very quickly after giving me instructions and left me on my own and tried to survive. But you look at the history of Master YongHua's, how he propagated the Dharma, and that's the Chinese, that's based on the concept of Jinchuren. You get close to the Sangha, get close to the temple, and help out the best way you can, okay? That's how you create blessings. And you help out, and of course, I told you about the example of my Vietnamese translator. I was in desperate need for one about a year ago because my Vietnamese translator returned to lay life. So her replacement was the first stage Arhat. So as soon as he volunteered, I said, well, I need you to be fourth stage Arhat. I told myself, okay, my Dharma, from when you translate, you should be fourth stage Arhat, at least, okay? And I was set up for second stage, but he's on the first stage, and within a year, he moved up to fourth stage, and that's pretty impressive. That means that he endured a lot of hardship, a lot of obstructions. I'm pretty sure he must have wanted to quit at least 1,000 times. That's how difficult it is, okay? And so that's an example of Jinchuren. There's an opportunity, there's a need, and you try your best. You make great sacrifices to help. That's the best way to create blessings, okay? That's the way of virtue. 道德, the way of virtue, a Chinese word, translation for the Chinese word 道德, 道德 basically means that you make sacrifices to cultivate the way. Chinese too vague. They explain virtues and so forth. I've spelled it out for you. Personal sacrifices, because that's what I saw in Master YongHua. That was not transmitted to my generation. We inherited a lot of infrastructure and we become fat cats. So proud of our lineage and our status instead of continuing it to earn it every day and to make ourselves worthy to be his disciples and to pay back what we got out of him. All right, Korean YouTube.
한국 유튜브에 올라온 이면 맹성희님 질문입니다. 아미타불 마스터 작년 화엄경 천석 법문 중에 마스터 법문을 많이 듣되 믿지도 이해하지도 말고 한 귀로 듣고 한 귀로 나가게 하라고 하시며 아무것도 간직하지 말라고 하셨고 그것이 비밀 소스라고 하셨는데 그것이 올바른 종자를 심는 방법인지 여쭙습니다.
Emitofuo Master, last year, during Avatamsaka Sutra chapter, Dharma talk, when you told us that listen to your Dharma talk a lot and don't believe, don't try to understand, and just listen in one ear and let it slide out the other ear. And don't try to memorize, and that's the secret sauce. And I'm asking you that, is this the right way to plant the seeds? The question is from Ip-yeon Meng Song-hee.
Okay, that's a proper way. You got it exactly right. Just listen, relax and listen. And don't try to even memorize it. If it interests you, you want to impress your boyfriend, you can memorize it and we'll do whatever, but it is not necessary. And if you have a question, then you can ask questions. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. We have a question from Samson Lau. Emitofuo, Master, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Since Chan is so much more beneficial, why do you think mindfulness meditation has become more mainstream?
Because I don't know. Chan meditation is not for everyone. Let's face it. The jhana we're training you is rigorous, more rigorous than most meditation disciplines. Some might try to outdo us by saying you sit 5 hours, we sit 10, you sit 10 hours, we sit 30 hours, and so forth. It's never about that. Our Chan meditation, as far as I'm concerned, is about sudden teaching. Okay, so this is what is not available in the Chinese style of Chan meditation. They grind it out. Okay, we grind it out, but then we supplement it with sudden teaching. That's why we don't need as long as a sustained periods as if you were to grind it out the Chinese style. At Xu Yun's temples, they would grind it out for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, and all the temples may go up to 100 days and so forth, because they don't have the proper instructions. Okay, so in the absence of the good known advisor, certain teaching, then the next best thing for you is to follow those schedules. For us, we follow schedules in spurts. You can come for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, okay, and give it your all, and then it's sometimes it's sufficient. But if you didn't have the kind of direct instructions, then you need to grind it out, okay. And so I feel that the mindfulness meditation, in my humble opinion, and this is my opinion, is basically child's play. Okay, to me, it's the ones that are real popular are the ones basically are not Buddhist meditation. They may be proclaiming, talking Buddhist principles, but their techniques and their goals are basically worldly. If you do, for example, the real popular mindfulness meditation when I first started, I'm not going to mention names, okay, out of respect for my elders. If you follow that style, basically you're practicing for, like this guy here, I'm going to reincarnate. You practice it like that, you will, I call it worldly meditation. Buddhist meditation is, I want to plant the seeds for you. Even if you don't make it this lifetime, I want to plant the seeds for you to get out of this reincarnation thing here. It's not good for you. Okay? So either you get out by becoming enlightened, okay? Or you get out by going to the Pure Land. That's part of my Chan teaching as well. You can't make it, get out, go to the Pure Land. I see you there, hopefully. Okay? And so I feel that it's a worldly meditation, so why would I compare our approach to a worldly meditation? Okay? Go do your mindfulness, their style. If you enjoy it, nothing wrong with it. Very much like, if you do that, then it's equivalent to, all the other worldly pleasures to me. Okay? And my standards are a lot higher. So that's why I'm not impressed. Okay? And I don't care to dissect whether they're wrong and so forth. It doesn't matter. Okay? If they're popular, I'm happy for them. If the monks and nuns use them to help them run the temples and get support for the temples, good for them. It's not for us. I want you to understand that what we're doing here is elite meditation. It's not for everyone. Okay? Everyone who comes here, the first timers need to go through a certain period where they'll be tested to see if there is for them or not. Are they serious about this? If they're here only to enjoy themselves in 5 minutes of pleasure and bliss and peace, you can go anywhere. You don't need to come to us. You can get it a lot faster here, but it's not our goal. Our goal is to bring you to a lot further where you have something called meaning in life. That's where my master failed. Master YongHua failed in teaching that in my generation. We're proud to be advanced and very skilled in Chan meditation compared to the other monks and nuns. Okay, we're very proud of it, and it's a real significant achievement. But it's not why we practice Chan. Okay, yeah, because I'm teaching you about kindness and compassion. So when when you're kind, you are compassionate, which is lacking in his training. Then you look at your own achievements as nothing. It's insignificant because that's not why we're doing this. We're doing this to make a difference in the world. We're doing this to help relieve the pain and suffering that's happening out there. If you are skilled, if you have the resources, how can you possibly ignore it? What kind of person are you? All you can think of is yourself and your family. It's piss poor. Excuse my language. Your life is very, very narrow focus. Yeah. And that's, you're underutilizing your Buddha nature. You can be so much better. You can be so much happier. So much more satisfied with your life by finding more meaning out of it. You thought only, you are brainwashed or only look at your own safety, your own retirement. I would like to change it. I want to brainwash you into believing that you are important, that you can make a difference, and anyone can be trained. Anyone can do it. I've proven that. Okay? I took people who are very, very impossible to teach. And it's proven, as soon as they leave us, no one can help them. And we build an infrastructure to help them. And together, we could do big, big things. important things and make a difference in people's lives. To help our family, our loved ones, our friends, our co-workers. That's what we do. That's what you do. Are you happier? Then compared to the day you first walked into the temple and the first day you encountered the Dharma. And that's why I predict, okay? I'm telling you, we're going to have centers of Chan meditation to like the Zen style, okay, where they went everywhere, but we're going to be for real. Zen is for babies, okay? They don't understand, the Japs don't understand meditation at all. Suzuki is an idiot. Is he that? I hope so. I read, all those people when I first started. I said, my God, these are prolific teachers who taught Zen meditation. I read so much junk they produce, they publish. I said, you call this meditation? It's confusion they're teaching. Okay? So, I don't know. Good luck. We try our best. And I feel that there's plenty of elite people out there who can see this, and probably way after I'm dead, and they realize that because of you, so many more of you will be able to carve out a corner in the world under your name and make a difference, and quietly make a difference and help people, okay? And it will catch on like wildfires eventually. But what you're doing right now is very important. You are starting this movement where we believe in improving ourselves, okay? Continually improving ourselves in order to help more people. Why? Because we didn't, who will? Because everyone else are only thinking about, making more money, and indulging their pleasures, okay, indulging themselves, and living in confusion, and spread their afflictions to everyone else. All right, you see, was not beyond, probably not during my lifetime. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. We have a comment. It's from Daniel Wisniewski. I think I apologize that I don't know how to say that correctly. He's commenting on Samson's a question that he had to you about why is mindfulness more mainstream. And Daniel says he thinks it's because mindfulness is soft and the human race is soft as well. And it's such a brittle species nowadays.
Yeah, human race like whiskey. Anyone else? All right, let's go back to Master Shenhua's teachings then. Okay, so 115, slide 115. So Master Fatai says, I wish to reincarnate. Okay, that's a dirty word for me. Don't reincarnate. Okay? But then he's in this new era. He didn't know about Pure Land Dharma yet. Back then, Chinese Dharma is way inferior to our times. You realize that when Bodhidharma, Great Master Bodhidharma, brought the Mahayana from India to China, the first 3 generations, so about 100 years practically, close to 100 years, the patriarchs couldn't do anything. Here, Master Shenhua came over, and he left an infrastructure which is incredible that we should share with everyone. Okay, and we're building on top of it. Now we're spreading to all over. Okay, it's not about quantity, people. It's quality. You are really superior. Okay. But we don't stop there. We get better and better. We don't take time. We don't rest on our laurels. and feel we better at all. Okay? If you're so far ahead of your competition, then why do you keep on thinking yourself is better? It's irrelevant. They'll never be able to catch up with you. Don't rub it in. Okay. So he passed away at the age of 68. Okay, and that's pretty good longevity in the Chinese people back then. Okay, but 68, that's kind of short. You can't do much. 68. But then he started at the age of 20, in his 20s. Okay, so that's a pretty good 40 years. That's pretty impressive. All right. So emperor went through that thing and said, "Okay, he went. Oh, we went through this already. Why do we get back? Why do we get back here?" I talked about the 8 directions already, and my heart aches deeply. Emperors are just. Well, it's necessary. Sometimes you emperor, you say things are BS, but it's important. People need to hear BS. We're not above it, okay? And I spent a lot of money for the funeral, and we are here, 122. Continue, please.
法太法师他这2个徒弟，一个就是谭一，一个是谭二。这个谭二呢，年纪很轻就死了。
This Master Fatai had 2 disciples, one named Tan Yi and the other Tan Unfortunately, Tan passed away at a young age.
得了，法太法师就哭了。
When he passed away, Master Fatai cried.
说是这很天烫水里好像孔子们宴回早死了一样。
He said it was the same as, the heaven has resolved to deprive Hui of his life. It was like Confucius's disciple YongHua dying early.
他这个谭一法师呢，当时也是最有名望的一位法师，人物很高。
Master Tan Yi was the most prestigious one at the time. He had a very good reputation.
也帮着这个道安法师来翻译经典做了很多佛教的工作。
He also helped Master Daoan translate sutras. He did a lot of Buddhist-related work.
那么他这个名誉和这个慧远法师差不多。
His reputation was similar to that of Master Huiyan. This was Master Fatai's life story in a nutshell.
Okay, so that's the end of Master Fatai's story. Let's go over the last part of that story. Master Fatai has 2 disciples, Tan Yi and Tan I'm chuckled at the naming. Yes, so it's an order. Tan San, Tan Su, Tan Wu. And so two of them, and Tan is a younger one, but he passed away. And Master Fa Tai cried. He says, it's Tian San Hui. So the heaven hurt my Hui. Okay, and so because he's referring to Yin Hui. Okay, who was a famous disciple of Master Confucius, who is actually a bodhisattva. And so what the background information here that's helpful, Yin Hui passed away. Confucius said, the heaven has resolved to deprive me of my life. Heaven has resolved to deprive me of my life. Tian San Zu. Okay. Hui is the best disciple of Confucius. He passed away young, lost his successor, and was in deep grief. Okay. It's not so much that Confucius lost his disciples, his successor. It's that his successor was done. So they had to leave. His successor, Yin Hui, didn't feel that Confucius needed a successor. Okay? Because if really Confucius needed a successor, Yin Hui would have been chosen. Okay, would have. Remember, Confucius is a bodhisattva. Okay, so he has a lot of support. So, and probably it's likely that we don't know the story Yin Hui, but Yin Hui was there to do his job and then to help Confucius a little bit, to stir Confucius in the right direction. And after Confucius is in the right tracks, and Yin Hui left. So Yin Hui was never meant to be a disciple of Confucius. Okay, but Confucius didn't see that. It's just my personal thinking. I'm not impressed with Confucius, by the way. So, all right, and Master Fa Tai used the analogy of Yin Hui as a superior disciple of Master Confucius compared to the rest of his disciples. Yin Hui is by far the best. Okay, Confucius used to say, I say one principle, Yin Hui would be able to understand 10. Okay, meaning that actually he understands more than 10. But Confucius only could understand 10. Yin Hui would understand 20 or 30 or 100. Okay? But Confucius only can think of 10 more. That's my interpretation. Okay? And so the point here is that Yin Hui was there to help Confucius, not the other way around. Confucius is confused. Okay, I'm sorry, Chinese people. I'm opinionated. Don't take me seriously. Okay? I just have a big mouth. And it's okay to disagree with me. Okay? So for Fa Tai to say that, to cry over Tan and so forth, for losing and saying that. So he's elevating himself to be at the level of Confucius. So important he would have such an eminent disciple. Jeju Island.
Master, does that mean Yin Hui is higher level than Confucius?
Most likely. That's why Yin Hui said, I have to go. Because I stay here, it be detrimental to you. Maybe it could be the same thing, and my disciple just left me recently. He could have said, I'm out of here because if I stayed any longer, I would take over the organization. I'll have to take over the organization. Same principles, okay? I'm really don't like Confucius' teachings at all. It's for the mediocre. I don't like it. He taught the mediocre to obey the kings, and to me, it's nonsense. Okay, because he's neglecting the elite. Okay, teaching should be wide enough to take care of everyone, from low level to high level, like American Mahayana, American Chan. Question from Jeju. How are you feeling?
Much better.
You look so much better now. What day now? I'm so proud of you.
No.
How many days?
21st today.
23rd.
21st.
21. Oh, wow. And you're supposed to go 22, right? Wow, look at that. 18, that's two sections. You go to 22. That's 18 plus 4. Okay. And it's a 9-day thing, interval. So, people, I leave it to you now. Remember, have compassion. She looks very good. She's calling to the Trinity to certify this. So what do you think? She looks so good. Aren't we proud of her? Yeah. Okay. So how many more days should she do? See, isn't it interesting? She was struggling like on day 7 or so, and then struggling on 14 or so, 15 or so, and look at her now. She's like a flower blossoming.
Nobody said.
Okay, so let's take a vote. WMT. What do you think? Should she continue or stop? Are we voting to continue or stop? Who says continue? 1, 2. How about stopping? 0. It's clear. Everyone, did you see that? 2 people voted for you to continue. I didn't see anyone saying stop. Okay, how about... Oh, I see 1 person saying stop. Okay, how about DTT? Jumi is there. What do you say, DTT? Continue. Raise your hand. Don't talk. Oh my God. And Master Z, what do you vote for? Abstain. He's abstain. Abstain. See what I mean? Okay, how about going to Go Forest? And children, you can vote too. Children, continue. See, there you go. Children are voting to continue. What about the rest of you? Continue? Raise your hands. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Who says stop? See, I don't see anyone who's saying stopping. Moving on to Korea land, K-land. JMT. Yeah. Raise your hand. You say she should continue. Says stop. You see, 1 continue, 0 stop. And continue is from Xian Kong, is that correct in the back? Yeah, Xian Kong. JC. Let's see who her friends are, supporters are. Raise your hand and say, continue. 2 hands there. Usually it's 2 hands. Okay, and how about stopping? It's unanimous. Continue. Okay, I tell you what. And go back to Jeju Island, please. Look at her. She looks so impressive. You look so good. You know, I'm so proud of you. So how about stopping? What are you? What day are you now? Thursday over there, right? Thursday morning?
Afternoon.
Thursday afternoon. So yeah, I guess you can stop Saturday.
Oh. Thank you.
And how quickly we forget. She should be kneeling down. Oh, thank you, Lord. Okay, good job. Okay, hang in there for a few more days. Okay, so Yen Hui died early. Yeah, go ahead, 5 fingers.
Yeah, so I had this question for a while. So your sutra lectures, the sutra explanation books, have some Confucianism quotes and contents. So when we publish in Korea, should we remove those Confucianism thing?
Confucian what?
Your older version of the medicine sutra and other sutra books, they have a lot of Confucianism.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I can talk about Confucian's thing because it's a well-known thing, and I can then express my personal opinion. It's okay. It works. It's good. Back then, it's good for Asian societies, but I don't feel that it's. I don't like it personally because it's not conducive to. It's not developing talents, real talents. It's only good for sheeps. You need sheeps, you do Confucian teachings, in my opinion. Okay? So it's good to understand, there's certain fundamental things about propriety, about etiquette, and about mathematics and so forth. Those are good principles, but they don't go far enough. Okay? So it's good for babies. Very much like you need to have elementary school, go to elementary school, and so forth. So there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? So include them. Okay, going back to the slide, 126, Master Tani was a more famous one. He has a good reputation, okay, and help. His contribution was to translate and Buddhist-related work, meaning, you see, nothing that stands out. Okay, and ultimately, That's what it boils down to. You're a great teacher, then your disciples, how good of a disciple you're going to be able to produce. And apparently Tan Yi here may be famous back then, but he didn't really have much of a substance. His translation didn't survive, and a lot of Buddhist-related work, meaning not very significant. That's the bottom line. You can talk all you want, but what have you done? What have you produced? All right? Everyone is subject to that. So his reputation was similar to that of Master Huiyuan. Really? Okay. All right. Moving on. Next. Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. So, does that mean that he's drawing a parallel between Confucius and Master Daoan? Meaning Master Fatai was like Huiyan to Confucius, Fatai was to Daoan?
No, he recognized that Fatai felt that he was not Daoan's peer. He's like, I'm a junior to you. I can never be at their level. Okay, but the Chinese like to compare themselves to Confucius and so forth, I guess, and that's why Master YongHua says Tan Yi, Master Fatai's first disciple, senior disciples, his reputation was similar to Huiyuan, Confucius' disciples, and therefore it elevates his master's level. So the Chinese are very, very polite. Have good manners. I have no manners. I'm blunt, because I don't. I was not trained properly, I guess. Okay, but let's move on. Yes, 1.
Thank you, Master. We have a question from Dan. Hi, Master. Amongst the Buddha relics, there is one I saw called the Supreme Blessing Rock. I'm interested to learn more of this relic and how we could all benefit from this Buddha relic. Thank you, Master.
Okay, I defer that to the old abbot at JMT now. Okay, he's traveling the world. What is Supreme Blessing Rock? You know what he's talking about?
Hay là lâu quá con quên rồi.
Does anyone know? He forgot. Anyone remembers at all?
기억하시는 분.
Okay, JMT. Don't worry. If we don't know right now, so why don't we find out? Can we do that? Okay, find out. If we have in our collection, it has a story behind it, and it's good that people ask questions that keep us honest. We should know what we're displaying. Okay, so let's put a person in charge of it. O Abbot, how's that? Okay, moving on. Go on.
当时又有一位啊，在这个境台又有一位高僧，他住在这飞龙山的风光
In the Jin dynasty, there was another eminent monk. He lived in Mount Longshan. His name was Sungguang.
这位法师啊，年纪轻。
This man.
灯光。这位法师啊，年纪轻的时候就和道安法师是朋友。
This master, at a young age, was already friends with Master Daoan.
以后出家做沙弥，大家也都常常在一起，就研究所有的经典呢。
Later, he left the home life and became a novice. They often hung out together and investigated all the sutras.
非常聪明。做沙弥的时候，和道安法师两个人呢是共同发愿，但是呢，
He was also very smart. When he was a novice, he and Master Daoan made a vow together.
我们将来受戒了之后啊，一定要做这个弘法的工作。
In the future, after we become fully ordained, we must work on Dharma propagation.
于是乎啊，在做沙弥的时候，就研究经律论禅藏，读了有100多部经。
Therefore, when they were novices, they had already investigated the Tripitaka, which consists of sutras, Vinaya, and Shastras. They read over 100 sets of scripture.
受戒之后，遇到那个时候啊，我就很不太平，他所以就隐居在这个黑龙山。
After he was fully ordained, at that time it was quite tumultuous. So he lived in seclusion at Mount Flying Dragon.
一天就是游山玩水，他欢喜这山林之乐。
Every day he delighted in wandering through mountains and enjoying the pleasures of nature, finding joy in the forests and hills.
在这个山上呢，听听鸟叫唤，看看流水，很超然自得。
He found tranquility in the mountains, listening to the birds and watching the flower water. And watching the flowing water, experiencing a sense of detached contentment.
那么以后，道安法师又遇到，两个人呢果然就在一起研究这个经典的什么疑问。
Later on, Master Daoan met him again. The two of them together investigated the questions raised in the sutras.
因为当时翻译的经典，有很多意思翻译不出来的，所以啊，人看起来是有很多的疑问。
At that time, the sutras were being translated, had a lot of meaning that wasn't being translated. In reading it, many things were questionable.
他和这个僧光法师和道安法师两个人共同来研究，就把哪一定是错误的，就把它更改。就是做这一种认识的工作。
Master Sengguang and Master Daoan collaborated in research. They corrected the errors, refined, and improved the text.
就是对佛教工作做了很多，对于法师说也是当时的一个开心。
They did a lot for Buddhism. This master was also an eminent monk at that time.
他以后到这个弘扬佛法到向阳成一种小小的店，就圆寂。
Later, he arrived in Xiangyang to propagate the Buddha Dharma. In Xiangyang, he got a minor illness and passed away. That's the life story of Dharma Master Sangguang.
Very good. Let's go back to it. But before that, let's fill the DTT question.
안 들립니다.
Okay, while they're working. Oh, yeah, we can hear you now.
네. 네, 그 왕생입회에 관한 질문이 있습니다. 오늘 새벽에 저 아는 지인의 어머니가 돌아가셨다는 메시지를 받았는데, 제가 이제 원래는 이제 한 3개월 정도 왕생입회를 달아드려야 되나라는 생각을 잠깐은 했는데, 현보스님 여기까지 한번 끊을까요? 괜찮으세요?
I have a question about Rebirth plaque. Today I received a text from my friend that this friend's mother has passed away, and I was thinking about doing a few months of plaques, Rebirth plaque.
그러니까 한국으로 이제 그 조의금을 보낼지 아니면 3개월 위패를 달아드릴지 고민을 했는데, 제가 이 질문을 드리는 이제 이유는 DTT에서 선치를 준비하는 좀 중요하고 굉장히 바쁜 시기인데, 제가 위패에 이제 제 지인을 위하는 마음이긴 하지만 꼭 이렇게 중요한 시기에 위패를 달아도 되는지, 아니 그냥 한국에 그냥 조의금만 보내도 되는지 조금 조심스러운 마음이 들어서 질문하게 되었습니다.
So I'm wondering, should I send her the money to Korea for condolences, or should I just do a 3 months plaque for her mother? And I'm asking this because this is during Chanchi, and which is very important to me, important period. And is it okay to do a plaque while, since it's a very important period, is it okay to do a plaque?
Yeah, it's up to you. It would be helpful. The reason that we still do it during the Chanchi is because time is of the essence. And this is a typical example. Regular people die, and they usually fall. It's they will so easily fall. And therefore, we don't mind helping people get out of trouble. number one. Number two, because if they get into trouble, they fall into the ghost realm, for example, they cause a lot of problems, can cause a lot of problems for us, okay? And a lot of sufferings for themselves. If they get back to the human realm or the heavenly realm, then they have good blessings, and they'll hopefully be able to cultivate and make a difference and help out. All right? So the blessings you're helping these people, even though it doesn't seem quite a lot at all, but actually it makes a difference. This is why you should help.
이제 네, 그러니까 제 지인에게는 도움이 되는 게 분명한데 이제 DTT 센칠 이제 준비 기간이라 혹시 조금 누가 될까봐 그냥 조금 걱정이 돼서 질문 드리게 되었습니다.
I'm sure that it will help my friend, but I'm asking this because DTT is under preparation of next Chanchi, and maybe this might, I don't know, stop from preparing something?
Yeah, no, it won't. It's okay. It should proceed. We are geared and committed to helping people that way. Okay, so feel free to do it. You can do it. You can even put a request in K-Land as well, or you can do it here. Doesn't matter. It will be taken care of. Okay. You know, these small things here, it seems insignificant to you, but actually makes a huge difference. These people then, if they have a chance to get back to the good paths, they'll be able to have the blessings to encounter Mahayana, and they'll be better off. Okay, it's a goodness blessings. All right. So now we go to another short story. Perfect. There's this name here is Seng Guang in the same era of Master Tao An Fa Tai and in the Jin dynasty. And he was very good friends with Master Tao An. Tao An is very famous. And here we're learning some details more about these eminent monks in China back then that the Chinese look up to. They have a very rich history of important contributors to Buddhism. That's why Chinese Buddhism prospered. And so he left the home life, became a novice, and they were novices together. And it's at the early stages of Chinese Buddhism, so they were allowed to study sutras. Later on, their novices are not supposed to study sutras; they're supposed to study precepts. Okay, and nowadays we don't even tell you to study precepts. So typically, traditionally, I was taught that the first 5 years of left home person. As a left home person, we're supposed to study precepts, not even meditate. That's the Chinese tradition. But this is way earlier than that. So they were allowed to study sutras. And here now in our temples, we don't even ask you to study sutras. We ask you to listen to Dharma lectures and practice. So the approach is different. Okay. It's patterned after Master Shuino's style of training. All right. And Master Seng Guang, very smart, that helps. When he was a novice, they made a vow together. So you see, these people have aspiration. This is a very important point. A very important point. That is, you have to think long terms. Okay? Vows are long-range planning, if you will. Okay, and so these people these people have the blessings. That's why they have a long horizon, the planning. And so they made vows to not quit, become fully ordained. Not quit, because fully ordained is that when you're allowed to propagate the Dharma. You become a real person, member of the Sangha family. Novices, they really don't count. They're under study stages where they can back out. But fully ordained people is more of a much longer term commitment. And so it's impressive that at their early days of their training, their lives as monks, they have big dreams already, big plans already. That's very important. These people are not ordinary people. They only don't think, I'm going to have a temple and then make a name for myself. They actually said, I'm not worried about temples. I'm going to propagate the Dharma. So it's a much bigger scope, much bigger challenges. And they read as novices together 100 sets of scriptures. So they read a lot of scriptures. All right? And they were the early translations of the scriptures. And they eventually became fully ordained. And it was chaotic times. So he chose to withdraw and live in seclusion in a mountain. And Chinese is so huge, and they have lots of mountains and monks and nuns. Pretty cheap. You go there and you pick a spot and say, okay, I'm gonna live here, and no one bothers you. You out of the way, and no one comes. So this is ideal for people to cultivate. And learn to live in nature. And so they say Yinju. Yinju here is that he deliberately hid. He didn't want people to know. So these are very healthy parameters for me. A monk who at a very young age has lofty aspirations, is not trying to become famous or rich or successful. He says, I have something very big here, very important for me to do here, so I'm going to propagate the Dharma. It's a humongous goal, very big challenge. Excuse me. And then that colors his programs. So instead of trying to live in comfort in big temples, and back then clearly there's not a lot of good training programs. So he lived in seclusion. He hid, so that he can study scriptures. That's one form of cultivation, by the way. You read scriptures, like in the Pure Land school, Master Yin Guang, who is a transformation body of great strength Bodhisattva. That's what he did. He lived in seclusion and he read the Tripitaka from front cover to back cover, the whole thing, and over again. I think he even transcribed it because there's no printing press, so he's transcribing the Tripitaka. And he would recite the Buddha's name something like 100,000 times a day. So he lived in seclusion. So have a very rich tradition of doing that. Very impressive. You see, all the building blocks, healthy building blocks are there. So that's what will make him become an important contributor. All right? And And he every day enjoyed living in nature, going through mountains and enjoying nature, enjoying fishing, not fishing, joy in the forest and the hills, okay? He loved to be in the nature. Sorry, it's just bad habits. I hate fishing too, by the way. I like hunting, but not fishing. Anyway, never have any patience. All right. What do we do at Jeju Island, by the way? Do they have fishing, deep sea fishing? No?
Yeah, they have a lot of fishing.
There you go, lots of fishes. Okay, very fishy place. So he found tranquility in the mountains, listening to the birds and watching the flower water. Flowing water. Okay, a sense of detached contentment. Right there is bliss. Okay, very, very blissful. People can live in the cities and enjoy the amenities of life, excitement of life, and you can go retreat, okay, and they should take the time to go to retreats. Maybe in the future we should do that. We have retreat centers in the mountains to allow you to do this, okay, allow people to come to retreats, okay, and experience nature like Korean temples. That's what they do. Okay? And it would be so cool. But again, please remember, we're doing it in order to, number one, cultivate. Okay, you need to improve yourself. You need to be a competent teacher, and then to teach people, not because you want to run away from the world, okay, and be comfortable and enjoy nature. That's secondary. Yeah. Thank you. Now I feel hungry all of a sudden. I don't know why. Anyway, and so it's part of the enjoyments of the left home people, and that's a good selling point for monks and nuns. Okay, but this I don't like it. I want it to be part of cultivation, and meaning to help people. You go to nature and read sutras and meditate, but in order to hone your skills, particularly when you're in seclusion like this, which I will allow you to do in the future, okay, you build your spiritual powers a lot quicker. Okay, and then I can see that. I can, for example, my disciple has a house in Pico Rivera. We probably could allow people to go into seclusion there for 3 years, and we support them, okay, and then they come out and exhibit spiritual penetration, fly, predict the future, pick stocks for me, okay, and so forth. It would be so cool. That's my vision. There's a balance, okay, but it's always develop skills to serve. Because in the future, we will flex our muscles and say, oh, in prior life you were a bull. That's why you keep on bullying people. You see that? You keep like to butt heads with people. Okay? So it's so cool. That's why you behave like that. Okay? And so people will feel much better. And say, then it's my destiny to be a bully. Okay? And so we will be fun. Okay? We add more dimensions to your training program. I promise. Okay? All right. And so detached contentment, this is dhyana bliss. The contentment, the joy, the bliss comes from being detached. This is where worldly people are so confused. They seek pleasure, happiness by attaching to cars, houses, temples, fame, reputation. And they don't realize that that's part of the fun of life, but the deeper joys of life are the detachment from bliss, from Chan. All right? Next. Now, the two of them met again because it means to me that Seng Guang was competent enough to be able to make a difference. So Tao An brought him along, and they were working together to try to find answers to the questions that were raised in the sutras. Back then, the Chinese were studying more the Mahayana texts, so they had questions and they were documented. So these monks would try to investigate them, and they did research. Okay. So they worked together in researching, corrected the errors, defined, and improved the text. So it's very nice to do that. Okay, and you see, the part of our work as well is research. Okay, we research either sutras. I personally research sutras. I research illnesses and so forth. You don't realize, for example, our Sanghans, they kind of cuckoo. Okay, and so I don't do anything. I let them do. I let them drive my disciples away and my supporters away so that I can watch them. I don't meddle with them at all. So I know how these bipolar things behave in my temples. Okay, so eventually you learn more. That's part of R&D, if you will. Okay. And I'm sorry to the people who walked away so disenchanted and say, Master's temple is so bad. But as part of R&D, that's ongoing. Okay. So there's always excitement, there's always rewards, and there's also a lot of disappointments. That's a mead always. Okay? Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. I have to pass the mic over to Sarah so she can read the name because I can't read the name.
Okay.
It's from Kim Yu Min.
Okay, and she says, Emitofuo, Master, my friend died a few days ago. She suffered from a cancer for 1 year. Is it okay to request a temporary rebirth plaque when I'm not able to afford to request a 49-day plaque?
Yeah, sure. Please do. It's a good thing. She definitely needs help. The friend needs help. A lot of help. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Master.
When people die of severe illnesses, it's a very bad omen. The sign that they're falling big time. Okay, and only the Buddhists can help make a difference. This is when you have to come to Buddhist temples, and I know that even if people don't believe, and they would, this is what I want you to think about. Okay, in the future. Right now is the case. I don't know what's going to happen in the future to Pure Land Dharma here in America, in the U.S. But right now, if you have people who pass away, whether you don't believe in Buddhism or not, but if they are pass away in bad circumstances, okay, not normal, they have a bad death, okay? However you think of bad death is accidents, severe illnesses, a lot of pain, suffering, murder. Murder like this or like this? The Japanese, they like this. Never mind. Somehow I like violence or... Okay, I get carried away. Calm down. Okay. And even if you don't believe in Buddhism, I'm telling you, benefit from our wisdom, from Buddha's wisdom. Bad death, bad ending, bad news for that person. Go to a Buddhist temple. Okay, it doesn't have to be mine, but go to a Mahayana temple, a good temple, for people who cultivate, who practice. Okay? Get a 2-month rebirth plaque, at least 2 months, because it makes a huge difference, let me tell you. Okay, and you're going to be spending so much money on the funerals, expenses, and everything else. You know, another $200, buy, few flowers or whatever. Okay, negotiate, get a break, $200 break or whatever 2 months worth of help will cost you. Okay, do it because it's tremendously beneficial to the deceased. Because the Buddha is very compassionate. He knows that only we have the Dharma that can make a difference, big difference. Okay? Think about it. It's well worth it. Okay? It's like just in case you get conned by us, it's $200 here. Okay? Maybe more expensive somewhere else, or cheaper in Vietnam, whatever. Do something for them. Okay? Go to a Buddhist temple. It really helps. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. We have an additional question about the rebirth plaque. It's from Daniel. He says, Emitofuo Master, regarding the rebirth plaque, can we do for one who has passed away 2 to 3 years ago, or does it have to be during the 49 days after one's passing?
Oh, Thank you. That's right. Thank you. It's best to do it during the 49 days, so the sooner the better. When for those who passed away already, beyond the 49 days, you need to have much more help to get out. Okay, much more difficult. This is why that spending a little amount of money as even if you get conned as an insurance, okay, it's well worth it. Let me tell you. You don't believe, it doesn't matter. We help anyway. Okay, and so going back to the slide here, we're running out of time. So they did a lot of Buddhism together, also an eminent monk at the time. He arrived in Xiangyang, and in his work of propagation, he got a minor illness and passed away. Why would you pass away from minor illness? And that's a story of Master Seng Guang. Okay, and let me tell you. This is something that I want to submit to you for your consideration. Back then, see, these eminent monks were known to translate and speak Dharma. Okay, but their weakness is that after they're gone, the followers were not that good. Okay? And because of the nature of the cultivation for them at the early ages, the early stages, they study sutras. That's called the cultivation of literary prajna. Okay? And you build your wisdom by hearing, by reading, by learning, by studying. That's important. Okay? And then Master Seng Guang here, he went into seclusion and he continued to do that and meditated, I'm pretty sure, but he primarily did a lot of studies, okay, of sutras and walking in nature, and that helps too. And so that's called contemplation. cultivation, contemplation, wisdom. So he has some samadhis. That's why he felt very blissful and he enjoyed it. And he felt very detached and content. Okay, that's a proof right there that he has samadhi power. So the process was helping him build. Okay, and that's where they peaked. Okay. Whereas nowadays, with Master YongHua, we brought the technology to the U.S., it's quite different. We don't do that. Here in the U.S., the style we're training is Chan at the core. Chan at the core, the way the Master YongHua set up, and I'm imitating, is actually both precepts and wisdom. But, when you do the Chan Chi here, when you come to our temple, the officially it's called Chan Chi, but actually you're learning about right and wrong as well as wisdom. Okay, but this is very important because this is much faster and much more systematic. You understand? We have a system now where everyone can systematically get together and systematically improve. Back then, there's only one of them. They had to hide somewhere, and these are superior people. They have blessings already, so they can go into seclusion and did their own things. Okay? It doesn't work like that anymore. You don't have the same blessings they do, so we need to give you our blessings and therefore invest in you. It's very Americanized. So this is the signs of the times. You don't have enough Mahayana blessings, so Master YongHua had to come and invest in us, in my generation. Okay, so we have this infrastructure of Mahayana. Okay, but it's still, our style is still China as a core. So the wisdom we're practicing you is contemplation wisdom. Okay? And then it doesn't stop there. Okay? Now it's my turn. I don't stop here. I also attached I raised the stakes. Okay, so that I expect you to improve. Okay, so that you are we go more into the advanced training. Yes, go ahead, 9.
Thank you, Master. I just want to make a comment. The first Chan Patriarch, Bodhidharma, he didn't go to China until after the 400. And so all these eminent monks, and they were before Venerable Bodhidharma's time. So what you point out, it was interesting. So they didn't go through this kind of systematic Chan training.
Thank you for pointing it out. Absolutely, Bodhidharma came to China after Master Sengguang and Master Taoan, and that's why the levels of samadhi or wisdom of Master Taoan and Master Sengguang were not that high. Okay, Chan, it will bring you to very high level wisdom, much higher than without Chan. Okay, and Master YongHua did even more than that. The Koreans, the Vietnamese, the Taiwanese, and so forth, they want to specialize. Master YongHua, his Chan's actually like ours. It's all 5 schools. Okay, and so that's why right now as I said at the beginning of tonight's Dharma talk, is that our American Chan, Mahayana Chan is actually very, very advanced. And I see it as the new standard for Chan training in the world. We're willing to share it with everywhere. And that's why we're investing heavily in our Sanghas. And you, lay people. Okay? Even if in the future you prefer to be a lay person because of your family obligation and you want to help propagate the Dharma, you should be doing under a Sangha who's better than you. If someone should tell you, hey boy, bad boy, don't do that. Okay, that's wrong. Okay? And so that's a way of the future. And I'm excited because I'm formulating, specifying the parameters of American Chan. Our reach will be, as Master YongHua predicted, will be worldwide. Will be very, very challenging. It'll be fun, folks. Okay? Because Chan, doesn't matter who you are, you will have a you will be trained according to your interests and your potentials. Okay? All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.